When you close your eyes and picture a national park ranger, what do you see?
Oh, it's instant, isn't it?
Yeah,
You see the flat hat, the gray and green uniform. There's this whole aura of competence and wilderness knowledge.
100%. It's an icon, a kind of American knight errant,
Yeah,
standing on a cliff looking stoic.
exactly. But the source material we're digging into today, it sort of takes a sledgehammer to that icon.
Or maybe it just takes the icon off the pedestal and shows us the actual human being sweating underneath the uniform.
Well, that's the mission for this deep dive. We're going to look past the geography, past the wildlife stats, and really find the human side of the National Park Service.
Yeah, we're talking about the embarrassing mistakes, the awkward interactions with the public, and the raw reality of nature.
And we have to start with that gap between the myth and the reality, the imposter syndrome of wearing the badge.
Okay, so this first story from Yosemite, back in 1973, it just says it all. It's from a ranger named Jim Milestone.
And this story is the perfect setup. So Jim, he wasn't some, grizzled mountain man.
Yeah.
He was a 19-year-old college kid.
Right. And get this, his job wasn't wilderness guardian. He was hired as a taxidermist.
To stuff roadkill birds.
Exactly. But they put him on the front desk at the visitor center, and he admits it, the uniform totally went to his head.
He talks about seeing his reflection, the arrowhead patch on the shoulder, and just feeling this rush of nobility.
He felt like he was the myth.
Until he got hungry.
Yes. The white bread incident. This is so good. So Jim's broke, he's living in a tent cabin, and he goes to the store to buy dinner.
Which is, of course, the college classic. Peanut butter and a loaf of Wonder Bread.
He's standing there in the full uniform, flat hat and everything, reaching for this super processed white bread.
And suddenly a hand grabs his wrist.
Just grabs him. He turns around, and there's this huge guy, beard, flannel shirt, looks like he just came out of the deep woods. And the guy just looks at Jim, then at the Wonder Bread, and he booms. Rangers don't eat white bread.
No way.
Yes. And he physically moves Jim's arm over to the whole wheat bread.
That is incredible. And you can just feel the shame Jim feels in that moment. He's being scolded by a tourist for not living up to the image.
But here's the kicker. The mountain man who called him out.
Uh-oh.
He starts talking to Jim, and it turns out he's a computer programmer. He works in a skyscraper in Los Angeles.
Oh, that's the key. That is the whole point. The tourist needed Jim to be the fantasy.
Yeah.
He needed the Wild West myth to be real, so he projected it right onto this 19-year-old kid.
And the craziest part is it actually worked. Jim says from that day on, he never ate white bread again. The myth literally changed his diet.
That performative part of the job just comes up again and again. Like later that summer, Jim, the taxidermist, remember, he sees a bear on a dumpster? Crowd of tourists watching. Totally terrified.
He has no idea what to do, no wildlife training at all.
He knows the role he's supposed to play, right?
Right.
So he puts his hands on his hips, deepens his voice.
And he just yells, "Bear, get down from there."
And the bear listens. It just looks at the hat, the uniform, and takes off.
The ranger has spoken.
It's amazing. But that uniform, it's not a magic shield. It might work on a bear, but it won't work on, say, physics.
Oh, okay, we have to talk about Jonathan Schaefer's story from Death Valley. This is the flip side of that ranger pride.
This one is painful, but so human.
It's 2015. Jonathan's a seasonal ranger in this huge government truck. He sees a couple who can't get tire chains on their car on an icy hill.
And you can feel his ego just swell. He writes about this surge of ranger pride. This is his moment to be the hero.
He pulls up, puts the truck in park, grabs his flat hat,
Of course. Can't be a hero without the hat.
and he steps out onto what turns out to be a solid sheet of ice.
Oh, no.
As he's standing there trying to look all heroic, his giant Ford Expedition just starts sliding backward down the hill in slow motion.
The visual of that. He said the headlights were just strobing through the trees as it spun around.
All while the people he was there to save are just watching him.
It's his worst nightmare.
Luckily, the truck just slides into a snowbank. It only breaks a taillight. But then he has to do the walk of shame back up the hill.
He's expecting them to laugh at him.
Right.
Or ask for his supervisor.
But they don't. They just ask, "Are you okay? Can you still help us?"
And that's the lesson. They didn't need a superhero, they just needed a person.
Yeah, he realized that ranger pride is actually a liability. Humility is what service is all about, not looking cool.
That shift from ego to service is a perfect transition into how these rangers connect with visitors. Because sometimes the rescue isn't physical, it's emotional.
Right, like this story from Lassen Volcanic National Park. It deals with a demographic that, let's be honest, terrifies a lot of people.
The disengaged teenager.
The disengaged teenager. You've got this group of kids, and one girl in particular, they call her Fishhooks girl, she's walled off, hates nature, refuses to participate.
We've all seen that kid, just completely checked out.
So the ranger is trying everything. Facts, history, geology, nothing is working. They get to a lake, and people are trying to get photos of trout jumping. The girl is just bored.
But then nature kind of does the work for him. The girl starts to notice a pattern. She sees the trout aren't just jumping, they're feeding.
So she lifts her camera, not her phone, an actual camera, and she just waits.
And then she gets it.
She snaps the picture at the exact millisecond. A trout breaks the water with an insect in its mouth.
In the show, I got it. That is the sound of a wall coming down.
Yeah. The ranger didn't lecture her into caring. He just gave her the space to see a tiny life and death drama play out.
She became a participant, not just an observer. But sometimes participating means getting the facts wrong.
Oh, this one from Great Basin. I love this. It's this really tricky ethical question.
The truth versus joy debate.
So a ranger named Jeff Wilhelm sees a couple drive right past a do not enter sign. They pull up to this building.
A building which is, the dorm for the seasonal employees. It is not a scenic spot.
Not at all. It's just a generic government building. But they don't know that. They jump out of their car and they are just ecstatic.
They think they've discovered some secret, beautiful lodge. They're taking selfies, hugging, having this peak moment.
And Jeff has a choice. The correct ranger thing to do is to go over there, tell them they're trespassing, and point them to the real visitor center 6 miles down the road.
But he realizes that if he does that, what's the phrase he uses? He euthanizes their insouciance. He kills their joy.
And their memory of that day becomes, remember when that ranger yelled at us?
Right. But if he just stays quiet.
Their memory is, remember that beautiful building we found in the mountains?
Then he chooses silence. He lets them have their joy. He argues that sometimes the emotional truth of an experience is more important than the geographical truth.
It's such a profound idea. We get so obsessed with knowing the names of things, identifying the bird, the rock.
That we forget that the real value is often just the feeling of being there.
And that feeling can be tied to history, to legacy, not just pretty scenery.
Yeah, which brings us to this really moving account from the African American Civil War Memorial in D.C.
This one is heavy. It's about a database where people can look up their ancestors who served.
And the ranger, Timothy Good, is helping an elderly African American woman. The computer keeps freezing, she's getting frustrated, and she's looking for her great-grandfather.
So Timothy steps in and helps her. He types in the name, hits enter, and the record pops up.
And her reaction isn't, oh, thank you. She just touches the screen and starts to weep.
And Timothy has this incredible insight. He realizes she probably already knew the name. She wasn't crying because she learned a new fact.
She was crying because the government had finally, officially acknowledged her ancestor existed, that his service was recorded and cared for.
It's about validation. He was there to bear witness, not just provide data.
It shows that these parks, whether they're wild or historical, are really just venues for human connection.
Speaking of wild, we should really pivot to the more brutal side of the park.
The red and toucan claw part.
Exactly. And this story from Jason Ransom in Denali about a wolf and a moose. It's just stunning.
It's nature writing at its absolute best. He sees a wolf pack hunting a moose in the snow, but he totally debunks the whole frenzied kill idea.
He describes the wolf's movement as liquid. It's all calculated power, not anger.
The detail that got me was when the wolf just pauses, curls up in the snow, and looks like a stone. It's a battle of patience and endurance.
And when the kill finally happens, his perspective shifts from, tragedy to energy transfer.
Right. He points out that it's Easter weekend, the season of renewal.
Because the moose doesn't just die, it becomes fuel. First the wolves eat, then the ravens come in.
And then this black fox with a white-tipped tail shows up.
And he says it dances into the scene. It's playful, it's nipping at the ravens, stealing scraps.
The moose has been transmuted. Its life is now in the wolf's run, the raven's flight, the fox's dance.
And eventually the microbes in the soil. It's just a masterclass in seeing the whole loop, not just a single event.
There's another Alaska story that touches on this, but from a totally different angle. This is Peter Christian in Kobuk Valley.
The caribou collaring. Oh, this one is fascinating.
So just picture the scene. You have biologists in helicopters using tranquilizer darts to put GPS collars on caribou for science.
And right next to them, on the same river, are local Inupiaq hunters in their boats.
Who are not collaring the caribou, they're harvesting them for food to survive the winter.
He calls it a dance of death and life. One group is measuring life, the other is sustaining life through death. And he's stuck right in the middle.
He's physically wrestling a 300-pound bull caribou to get a collar on it.
And in all this chaos, he has this moment of complete stillness. He's holding the head of this sedated caribou. He sees it has a cataract in one eye.
But the other eye is perfectly clear, deep brown. And Peter looks into that eye and he says he felt seen by the living world itself.
Wow.
And that's his epiphany. He realizes that all the science, all the GPS data, the migration maps, it's all just surface level.
It can tell you where the caribou is, but it can never explain the essential caribou-ness.
Exactly. It's this admission that no matter how much you study it, the mystery of the wild is always just out of reach.
Which can be a pretty scary thing for a lot of people. The fear factor is huge.
Oh, absolutely. Which brings us to Bob Roney in Yosemite. He's really honest about this. He grew up in the suburbs and was terrified of the dark.
He thought the woods were just full of monsters waiting to get him.
Which is, I mean, a pretty normal fear for most of us, right?
Yeah.
He talks about hearing this horrible raspy scream one night and just thinking, well, this is it, I'm about to be eaten.
And it was a barn owl.
And the rustling in the bushes was a deer. He says that knowledge is the antidote to fear. Once you learn the language of the sounds, the woods stop being a haunted house.
And they start being a neighborhood.
Yeah. He jokes that the only truly bloodthirsty creature in Yosemite is the mosquito.
And once that fear goes away, it often gets replaced with this desire to serve, to help other people.
Which is exactly what happened to Steve Blisson in the Santa Monica Mountains. The self-described selfish volunteer.
I can relate to this guy. He didn't join the mountain bike unit out of some noble calling. He did it for free parking and a key to the gate.
It was purely transactional. He wanted to ride his bike without the crowds. But then the park just sort of worked his magic on him.
Right. He started helping lost hikers, guiding rescue helicopters, mentoring new volunteers.
He went from being a consumer, just using the park, to a producer, to a steward.
And that sense of ownership, that stewardship, it isn't just for the rangers.
Not at all. And that's the perfect way to wrap this up. We have to end with the Pine Siskin story from the Great Smoky Mountains.
The ultimate citizen science win. So you have these two bird watchers from Ohio, just a couple on vacation.
And they tell a volunteer, hey, we're pretty sure we see Pine Siskins nesting here.
And the official park records, the experts, everyone says, nope, impossible. They breed in Canada, not here.
But the couple from Ohio, they were sure. They insisted. So finally, a volunteer goes to check it out.
And what do you know? She finds a female pine siskin collecting nesting material.
They were right. These two tourists from Ohio documented a brand new scientific record for the park.
It just brings us full circle, back to the white bread incident. In that story, the visitor schooled the ranger on the myth of the park. In this one, the visitor schooled the park on the reality of the park.
It completely democratizes the whole thing. It's like Bob Roney said, Yosemite is my backyard, but it's your backyard too.
So if we pull back and look at all of these stories, from the taxidermist and the bear to the wolf and the fox, what's the big takeaway?
I think it all comes back to that false belief story. The couple taking pictures of the dorm building. We spend so much energy worrying if we're doing nature the right way. Do I have the right gear? Do I know the right facts?
But what this deep dive seems to show is that the connection is what matters, even if the facts are a little off.
Exactly. The joy that couple felt was real, even if the building was just a dorm. The awe Peter felt looking into the caribou's eye was real, even if he couldn't measure it.
So that's the final thought for you. The next time you're in a park, what are you looking for? The official version in the textbook.
Or are you open to the messy, human, sometimes embarrassing reality of it all? Are you willing to look a little foolish if it means you might actually connect with something or someone?
And maybe, just maybe, pack some whole wheat bread, just in case.
Always pack the whole wheat.
Go find your own story in the parks. Thanks for listening to this deep dive.
See you there.